Well, hi everybody. It is a real pleasure to be here with you this evening. My name is Cristina, and tonight's session is a specific session to talk about you, to talk about your dreams, your goals, and specifically how to make sure that you're on target, how to make sure that you're setting good goals, and finding out whether they are the right goals that are going to keep you motivated, and also exploring ways to keep them right there in front of you, crystal clear, so that they help you with focus. And we're also going to do a little bit about how to turn those goals and move them from being wishes, how you turn your dreams, and turn them to being actual goals, not just wishes. Okay, so that is the aim of today's session. Today's session really is about you guys. So if you're just joining us now, I mentioned before, please have a pen and paper ready, or well, unless you're driving. I know there's a couple of people driving, so please don't write if you're driving. But I will even give you some pauses during this training to have a little think about things that are important to you, relevant to you. So the topic of today, once again, is how to get your goals clarified and how to make sure those goals become a reality. All right, so let me screen share right here. So the topic of today is building a dream. And I just want to tell you a little something about this before. I had our little boy here previously just looking at some of the pictures as I was putting this slideshow together. And he said, oh, that's really cool how you have photoshopped that bottle of Asea into that image. And I said, no, it's not photoshopped. We were really there. You know? And this actually was a swimming pool that began from the hotel room, actually, of my parents, because they came with us, and their bedroom actually stepped into this swimming pool. And that is a real bottle of Asea there. And his very cute little comment was, wow, it was a really good idea to build Asea, wasn't it? And it sure has been. For both his parents, it has been a really, really good idea. And I want to make sure today that it is a good idea for you. I want to make sure that you realize that Asea is a vehicle to take you wherever you want to be. But the very first part of any journey is deciding and really figuring out, where do you want to go? So firstly, let's look at the landscape. Okay, so we have currently a global market that is desperate for opportunity. Yes, there is a health crisis. Right now, more than ever, there is a serious health crisis. There is a financial crisis as well right now. People are really stressed out, and I don't even believe that the financial crisis has hit yet, but people are really stressed out about what they're standing on financially. And more so than ever, they're looking for ways to have better options. I don't think there's ever been a time where people have been more open to an additional income stream, or be it a secondary or a third, in some cases, income stream. I've never seen a time where people are looking harder for ways to get ahead. The world needs a breakthrough. So let's remember that what we have right here in our hands is a breakthrough that has the capacity to be an answer to those important questions. Whether you're looking to improve your health, whether you're looking to protect your health, whether you're looking to change your financial situation. What we have is totally different. I get proposed so many different opportunities. I really do. I had a conversation with somebody today that said, oh yeah, I'm not sure about that opportunity. They've only got 2 products. And I said, that nobody else in the world has. You know, I wouldn't be excited to have a business that had 500 products if people can buy each and every one of those 500 products at the shops or at another company, you know, anywhere on the internet. What we have right here is exclusive, and they may only be 2 products, primarily a drink and a gel. Of course, we have the Via range, etc. But we really have a narrow group of products. I think that's a serious advantage because we have absolute market dominance, and because those 2 products are absolutely necessary for every single human on the planet. Whether we're looking at the market, the industry of beauty, of longevity, of anti-aging, of health prevention, the medical industry, sports, really there isn't a single person on this planet who isn't aging. So we have a sensational product with really, really strong positioning. So don't forget that. And I'm telling you this right now. I know, you're thinking, well, we're talking about goal setting, aren't we? Yes, but I want you to know why you can goal set. You can goal set because you have the freedom to do so, because you've got an incredible vehicle in your hands. People reach amazing lifestyles with Asea, and you can too. But I want to remind you that it is the vehicle that you have in your hands that has made your dreams possible if you choose to step forward. So you have the opportunity to step forward and participate in a global shift. I mean, the alternatives right now is you could stick with a job, or you can launch your own business. I know sometimes I get asked, oh, but can I have, I don't like that there's other distributors. I'd like to build this business if I was the only one that had that product here in, wherever, France or here in Taiwan. And I think, really, would you like to really be on your own? Yeah, so you've got to develop the product, you've got to test it, you've got to spend millions in research, you've got to think about logistics, IT, staff, global economies. Really, you want to do that all on your own? Because personally, I don't. I like to switch off. I like to not carry those headaches. I like the idea that we are right here in an incredible industry, which is the network marketing industry, direct sales, referral marketing, whatever you want to call it. All we're doing is sharing a really, really good product with other people. And essentially every single business relies on word of mouth advertising. Whether you're a restaurant, whether you're a shoe shop, we just get paid for it. But every other business relies on it, and it is an essential part of their business. We get paid for it. Our whole business model is pivots around what actually is the strongest form of marketing, which is personal referral. And of course, there are many other companies out there, thousands of them indeed. And I've been approached by many, as I mentioned, but the reasons I got involved with this opportunity is because we've got a product that is a breakthrough, that has no competitor, that I don't have to pitch myself against other companies that have a different version of Redox, because nobody else has this. And we have now the opportunity to know we stand on 10 years of a solid track record in our industry. Both network marketing and the redox biology sciences are on the upswing. So it's a really good time in a really good industry, and globally the world is ready for it. So that's the backdrop, okay? That's the backdrop you have, and that's why I want you to really relax into this next section and actually absorb, oh wow, I really have a good opportunity on my hands. What should I do with it? Because only if you know what you should do with it, will you do something with it. So let's talk about building your dream. A dream must be a number of things. It's got to be personal and emotional. It has to be specific and quantifiable. You have to know the details around it. And it has to be a dream that is written and is visible to you every day. It's no good to write it and then put it away and make it disappear. I've done that before. You write an amazing list and then it goes in the cupboard and you never see it again. No, this demands that you have a dream that is actually on a piece of paper, but most importantly, in front of you every single day. Okay, so let's dig in a little bit. And here is where I would like you to get your pen and papers ready. And I'm even going to put some music on in the background so it's not total silence. But let's make sure that you have some personal goals that you're shooting for. We're only going to do this for a few minutes. You can go away and do these exercises on your own at a much longer period of time. But just for a few minutes, I invite you to list, or if you're driving, think about 10 goals that excite you. 10 goals that excite you. Really, when you've got time, you can go away and do 100 goals that excite you. But right now, for the purposes of this exercise, write down 10 goals that excite you. Okay, over to you. I'm going to put some music on. And here are some ideas to think about. What do you want to achieve? What are some things that you would like to achieve? That when you look back on your life, you think, I did that. I accomplished that. What about some things that you would like to have? What are some things that you would like to know that they belong to you? It could be a house. It could be a car. It could be a holiday home in France. It could be a boat. It could be something for your children, for your parents. Where do you want to go? What are the places you want to make sure you visit? You dream about sitting in a faraway place with your feet in the sand somewhere, or at a cafe like this one where we sat for a whole entire afternoon in Paris. Where are you sitting where you're thinking, I am so glad I'm here. I'm so glad I came here. I'm so glad I got to see this in my life and be right here in this moment. I don't want to be anywhere else. Where are the places you'd like to go to? I love this one. Who do you want to become? Do you want to be somebody of influence? Do you want to be somebody confident? Do you want to stand on stage and change many lives? Do you want to be a leader? Do you want to be a diamond, triple diamond ambassador? And who do you want to impact? How do you want to impact the world? Do you want your phone filled up with messages of people thanking you for everything that you've done, for changing their lives? How do you want your friends and your family to talk about you? When you're long gone, your grandkids, what will they say about what you accomplished and how you changed the world? What about making a difference in your children's life or in your parents' life? How do you want to impact those that you love the most? Okay, so I hope you've got 10 goals written down at least. I hope you kept going and you got to 58 or 70 or 100. Eventually you can, and you might think, oh, writing a list of 100 things is super easy, but it's actually not. Once you really start going for it, it really can it really can become quite tricky. So let's move on to the next thing. With those top 10 goals that you're looking at in front of the page, I'd like you to look at them and put a date next to each one of them. They need a date. Otherwise, it's just, you could be on track forever. You know, if I said, I want to buy a new house and I don't put a date on it, I could be going to buy a new house till I'm 78. Now, if you're 78, that's fine, but put a date on when you're going to achieve that goal. So look at your list right now and put some detail, put a date on it and put some more information on there. So by that, for example, it's like being able to put a date such as the 30th of October 2020. So just take a moment. When I say how much, I mean, if you say I want to have lots of money, you've really got to say how much is lots of money, or I want to be financially free. How much is free? Is it $100,000 per year free, or is it $1 million per year free? So add more detail. Whatever that list is of 10, I'm going to give you a minute. We have to keep moving. Just add some detail to your list. Okay, we're going to move right along. And now let's look at your dreams being written and visible. So where in your house can you see your dreams every single day? You know, if they're in a drawer, it's no good. They've got to be on your fridge. They've got to be in your bathroom. They've got to be absolutely specifically visible to you every single day, almost so they annoy you. How can you research it? Mal is really good at this. If he says, I don't just want to get a boat, he'll go, well, what kind of boat and how much does it cost? And he'll go look at boats. You know, right now we've set a goal to build a new house. And so there's a lot of research going into it, you know. What kind of tiles would I like? Should I go and have a look at some display homes? Get to know it, get to touch it, because it's going to allow you to connect emotionally with it. So think of different ways to connect daily with your dream. By that, I mean, maybe it's not a list. Maybe you need a slideshow on your computer. For me, I really got very excited when I heard Tony Robbins say, the person you believe the most in the world is yourself. So why don't you record your affirmations and your goals in your phone with your own voice and play it to yourself daily, because it's an incredible way to impact the subconscious. Okay, now I want you to take just, again, just 1 minute right here to rate your goals. So go down the list of those 10 goals or 20 goals you've written down, and on a scale of 1 to 10, rate the importance of each of those goals. Okay, so let's do that. So with 1 being the least important and 10 being the most important. I'm sure you don't need too long, just scroll through. So just go through and rate each one of your goals. And once you've given everything a number, anything below a 5, you can cross out for now. And that's the beautiful fountains of the Bellagio in Las Vegas. What an incredible trip that was. All right, so now that you've rated them, focus on the 8s and above. Look at those and circle the non-negotiables. Spend a minute here and look at anything you've given an 8 and above and circle it if you do not believe you could live without them. And I mean, of course we can survive. I'm not talking about survival. You know, I can survive without a new house. But what I mean non-negotiable is, do you want your life to go through and for you never have that? Some things are things that would be nice, you know. Would I like an Aston Martin? Yes, I would. Really, I do. I love those cars. Is it non-negotiable? Not really. For me, non-negotiable is a home for my children. One that we design, one that we build with enough bedrooms for everybody. That is non-negotiable to me. What's non-negotiable to you? So give you 1 more minute to circle the ones that are non-negotiable and then rewrite that list. So take those important ones and put them in a new list. These are your top goals. Okay, now as you've got your list of top goals, and it might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 5, it might be all 10, but I'd love for you to attach emotions. This is where the work is done, guys. This is the magic. Attach emotion to each one of those goals. Attach an image or a moment. What does it feel like to you? This here was a beautiful afternoon with our team in France, just hanging out by the lake. It was absolutely spectacular to share with the team. A beautiful afternoon. I want you to put yourself in a beautiful afternoon or a beautiful morning where your dream is already achieved. So if one of your goals is to have a house, attach some emotion to what it feels like. And you can write them down as the emotion, or you can write it down as an image. So the emotion, you could say, I feel elated, I feel satisfied, I feel complete, I feel relief. Or attaching an image, you can put an image down, say, I'm standing in my kitchen and I can see my children playing in the backyard. Or you're touching the walls and smelling the fresh paint on your new home. Or you're standing out the front of the house looking at it and you're moved by just the excitement that this is yours. So spend a moment next to your top goals to write a scene, just a line, just an image of what it looks like. If you want a boat, it's you sitting at the helm with your family on the boat. If it's financial freedom, what does it look like? It's too nebulous to say financial freedom. What does financial freedom look like to you? It's a Tuesday and you're sitting by the lake with your friends. So you can go back and this exercise will actually take you a little bit longer. It's probably not something that you'll be able to finish right now, but this is the important part, to attach an emotion to each one of your dreams. For example, one of my dreams was to help my father retire. And I built an image around that of being able to be at his retirement party, of sitting there with a glass of champagne in my hand and feeling the emotion of what it was like to have made a difference in my dad's life and know that he'd never had to go back to work again. You know, so whatever your goal is, it needs to have an image, it needs to have an emotion. Because when the going gets tough, and the going will get tough sometimes, this is a business, and you ask yourself the question, why am I doing this? You need to have an image that comes to mind swiftly. And you know what? I have thought about that image of my dad many, many times. I have thought about our ability to travel freely because we need to do that in order to keep our family together. I have thought night and day about our new home. And when I do think, oh gosh, another meeting, or when I think I'm so tired, or wow, that was a really frightening phone call. I don't want to pick up the phone again, you know. And actually, I don't think I've ever had a frightening phone call. I'm more frightened about what I've done. Sometimes I'm frightened about my own performance. I think, oh wow, I really made a mess of that. But then I think about those images. I think about my children swimming in our new swimming pool. I think about my dad at his retirement party. And do you think I can let myself off the hook? Absolutely not. Now, you've got to have something that keeps you motivated. So here is the culmination of what we've done. By now, you should have a list. If you don't have it, that's fine. Take some time after this presentation, because the challenge here that I'm going to throw out to you is to commit for the next 30 days to visualize, to spend and make the time. And I mean, make it. Put it in your diary. Schedule it with yourself. You are your top priority. You're your number one project. So if it's first thing in the morning, last thing in the day, it doesn't matter when, commit to 30 days of spending time with your eyes closed, put on some nice music or whatever, you know, does it for you, and walk yourself through those emotions, through those moments where you're physically there. You are in your body, in your dream, and it's not in the future. It's not some faraway wish. You're in it. Because that is where it all begins. Visualization is where it all happens. You know, this is a beautiful moment we had in Mexico, and I've been privileged to have so many beautiful moments in my life. And I'm reminded right now, actually, of a time when the kids were very, very little, where Malcolm and I had a house in the south of France. And I was a young pup. I was really still learning about all this visualization stuff. But I remember looking at the fire, looking at this beautiful farmhouse we had, and asking Malcolm, gosh, did you ever imagine we would live like this? And his answer was, well, yeah, of course. All the time, every single day, I imagined this. And that's why we had it. I absolutely love the work of Bob Proctor. And if you have no idea about why visualization works, it really is beyond the topic of this presentation, but I really encourage you to throw yourself into this with faith. And if you need to understand it scientifically, it also stacks up. It's not an airy-fairy art out there. It's not something that might or may not work. It absolutely is a law like gravity. What you focus, you will get. The problem is that most of us grow up with a habit of focusing on the problems, focusing on what's going wrong, focusing on our lack of money, focusing on our bad relationship, focusing on everything that's wrong with our husband, wrong with our wife, wrong with the world. And so we see more of that. If I asked you right now to take a look in the room that you're in and tell me everything that's black, look around the room you're in, tell me everything that's black. You know, you would rattle off, oh, the carpet, the TV, the picture. But then if I told you, close your eyes, and with your eyes closed, I asked you a different question. Tell me everything that's yellow. You probably couldn't even list more than one or two things. Why? Because you weren't looking for it. And in your life, you will find what you are looking for. So make sure that every single day you are looking for a way forward towards your dreams, and that you're looking at your dream in one way or another. It really is so powerful. And if you want to do something that will change your life, go to the, do 30 days of the Bob Proctor Abundance Visualization. If you Google Bob Proctor Abundance, it's a YouTube, it's free. It goes for 17 minutes. And you do 30 days of that, and it will change your world. It really did. It has been a landmark exercise I did for myself, and highly recommend it. Getting into 30 days of visualization. I want to close off here. I'm getting close to the end with a couple of thoughts. Firstly, what does your life look like if you build this? What does it look like? You know, if you look at the sheet in front of you right now, it's got 10 different things written on it, maybe 20, maybe eventually it'll be a list of 58, or maybe it's just one really, really strong goal. What does your life look like if you build this Asea business and you have both the time and the money to write down anything you want because you know you have the capacity to make it come true? You become a dream factory. Really, after you've achieved your first dream, you start thinking, what next? What next can I go for? And how many other people can I help get their dreams? Because that is really how we move forward. So what does your life look like when you build this? There is a place somewhere around the world, just like this one, right here, that you could sit in. There is a table reserved for you. There's no reason why you can't get there and be on that same exact chair in Cancun. There is a place in the world for the person you're going to become when you achieve everything that you want to achieve. And that seat is absolutely there for the taking. But I want to ask you the opposite question. What does it feel like if you don't? What does it feel like if you don't build this business and maybe you don't build any other? Because, you know, when people say to me, I've got goals, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, and then they turn their back on this business and this opportunity, I pretty much know that they haven't replaced it with another opportunity. They've just gone into a void. And we're very good at telling ourselves lies. Really, we are. Oh, I'll get to it another way. I'll do something else. Or Asea is not for me because this, because I'm not good enough, because I don't have the right contacts, because it's not the kind of business I want to build, because whatever. But there's really only one question that matters, is can Asea give you the goals that you want to achieve? If Asea cannot give you the goals that you want to achieve, then that's fine. You can ride off into the sunset, no problems. But if Asea can give you the goals and the dreams that you want to achieve, then why wouldn't you just build it? Because I personally don't know of a better, and I will even say easier, opportunity than Asea to generate a six-figure passive income. I don't know of any. And I know that other leaders would agree with me on that. So my question is, if not this, what will you go to? What is the other opportunity that in 18 months, which is the average time that a diamond has built their diamondship, you could build a $20,000 a month income, which is the average diamond income? If not this, then what? Because let's not kid ourselves. The reason we turn our back on something like Asea is not because we don't believe in the business. There's too much proof that it does. It's not because we don't believe in the product. There's too much proof that it does exactly what it's supposed to do. The reason we turn our back on Asea and people walk away is because they don't believe in themselves and because they don't believe in their dreams. So that is where it must all begin. And we must begin by identifying the dreams of our heart, the things that we know we can't live without, as I said, the non-negotiables. But then there's one final step. You need to move things from being a wish to being a plan. And you might need the help of your upline to achieve this. But there are three things in life. I heard this a long time ago and I love the simplicity of it. There are three things in life to getting any goal. Figure out what it is that you want, figure out what it's going to cost to get it, and then pay the price. Really simple, but that's what it is. So figure out what you have to accomplish in order to get your dreams. So you might think, okay, I want a new house. How much is the new house going to cost? By when do I want to build it? Where is it going to be? Remember, filling out the dream. What's it going to feel like? What do you have to accomplish to get that dream of that dream house? Well, actually, I could have that dream house if I was a platinum, or I could have that dream house if I was a diamond. Fantastic. Now, specifically, what does a diamond have to do? Remember, figure out what price you have to pay. A diamond, on average, has sponsored 45 people. Great. You have now a plan. You have a strategy, and you need to flesh that out. Okay, great. What am I going to do that by? By the next 3 months, by the next 10 years, by the next 2 years? And then break it back down to what you have to do daily. As I said, you might need to some help from your upline, but take your dreams, your goals, and sit down with somebody who's helping you and say, you know what, this is what I want to achieve. This is what I would like to accomplish. And then how to get there, you'll need some help. Actually, Mal's going to talk in a moment. Thanks, Mal. I just got a message from Big Al. So figure out what it's going to be, what price you need to pay for it, and then ask the help of your upline to say, what do I need to do every day? Do I need to reach out to 2 people, to 5 people, to 10 people? What is my sponsorship goal per month? Is it 2 people? Is it 10? Because now you know what you have to do in order to get to where you want to get. And that is how you develop focus. Focus doesn't come from just sitting around knowing very nebulously what you want. Focus comes from having a very specific reason and then developing a very specific plan. Remember, you're not focused to the work, you are actually focused to the dream. You don't need to discipline yourself to do work when you are disciplined to the dream. Focus will come naturally because you'll get up wanting to do those 10 phone calls, wanting to connect with those people, wanting to have those meetings because you know why you're doing it and you're excited about it. And my last thought here before I hand over to Mal to I'm sure he'll be able to add some great thoughts to the end of this, is who will you become? I think that's the most exciting part. People kept saying it to me and I had no idea how true it was. But who will you become in the process to getting what you want? That is the most exciting part. And if that doesn't make sense, I'll tell you a little bit why it's important. Because growth, by its sheer definition, will demand change. And we all need to grow in order to get to step into a different life. If I was already the person I needed to be in order to have the life I wanted to have, I would already have the life I wanted to have. Does that make sense? For me to reach bigger levels, for me to have more in my life, I need to become more. Because only through my own growth will I develop into a person that's capable of achieving those goals. And I think that's the most exciting part. I don't want to be the same person in 10 years as I am today. I know that if my life's going to be bigger, I'm going to need to be bigger too. Mel, did you want to add anything? Big Al sent me a message and said that you might be there.
I'm here.
Okay, cool.
So it was John Paul Getty.
Oh, who said that? Cool.
Did that. So first of all, decide what you want, and then decide what you're going to have to do, and then do it. Very simple. Three simple statements. So that was the late great John Paul Getty. Let me just share a few things. That was great, by the way. I really enjoyed that, and I'm actually doing a lot of work personally in this area as well again, and rebirthing a lot of different dreams. And one of the things that dream building does, it forces us to think. And that's not always easy to think. In fact, it's probably one of the hardest things as human beings we do, and most people don't. Oftentimes people say, I can't find a dream. I said, well, you have to. And you must look, and you must think, and you must search, and you must revisit and look and look and look and search until you find that dream. I remember listening years ago, somebody said this about a business like ours, and he made this comment: those that focus on the work really struggle when you build a business like this. So those that focus on the work really struggle, and those that focus on the dream breeze right through. And you will see that time and time again. The people that go through and build a business that they look like it's just easy for them, but they're focused on a dream. They have a reason, an emotional reason to build a business like this. When you find that, you must find it. If you're going to build a business like this, you really must find something that's very emotional for you. There's 2 books I want to recommend. Most of you know that I'm always going to come back to the Audible books to support you and to help you in your journey. There's a book that I downloaded a week or so ago called Thinking Big. And it's not the magic of thinking big. This book is called Thinking Big. And I'm listening to a lady that I've not heard of before, but her name is Marsha Wieder, Wieder. And actually, she's appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show a number of times. And her whole career is based on dream building and finding a dream. And that book, which I've been listening to now for the last number of days, Thinking Big, she teaches us how to process the dreams, how to have stepping stones, how to emotionalize it. And she breaks it down into kind of little bite-sized chunks that I think a lot of people will help. I've actually just downloaded another book from her, and it's called Making Your Dreams Come True. Again, the author's name is Marsha Wieder, Wieder. But both of those books, I think, I've not listened to Making Your Dreams Come True, but after having listened to her on Thinking Big, she's very, very competent. I'm getting a lot of really good information from her on that. But look, that was really good. I think that this is a part of the business that people struggle with the most. You know, the how always gives way to the dream. The number one priority in building a business like this is the dream, figuring that out. The how is, everybody's going to have a slightly different how, but the most important thing is to be really clear on what you're doing here, really clear on what it is you want, in what time frame, what are you prepared to do. It's the same for every one of us. It really is about clarifying that. And I could talk a lot about this as well, because your dreams will change. You know, the dreams that I had when I started 4 years ago, very much different to the dreams that I'm able to look at today. So they are progressive, and they will change as you change. They will change as you grow and develop. But look, that was really good. I really enjoyed listening to that. So thank you.
It was kind of odd to stop and start a little bit. Can I ask you a question? Because I know you've had this too. Sometimes people say, I know people will hear this talk and they still, for some reason, people will not go and write a goals list and they won't go and focus on it. I have my theories about that. I think sometimes it's painful to dream build, because you look at a list and you think, oh, you know, it hurts to think about it too much. And as a shield, I've heard people say, when I've got the money, or when I am a diamond, I'll know what to do with it then, or I'll think about what I want then. What would you say to that?
They'll never go diamond. You've got it round the wrong way around. And yes, it is painful to dream build. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to move us out of our comfort zone. And I understand that many on the call have gone through, you know, difficulties in life. You know, I work with people constantly. I am working with a gentleman at the moment down, I won't say where he is, but he's had everything. He's lost everything. I've known him for a long time. He was once a very wealthy man. He's lost everything, absolutely everything. And he's now doing something very menial. He's gone from being a very wealthy man to a very menial role. And the thing that I'm working on the most with him is finding and rekindling a dream. It's not telling him about the business. It's not telling him how to build it, how to teach him about the business. It's really, what I'm doing is rekindling belief in him, given that he's been smacked and smashed and lost everything, because I had too. And so I understand the process back from that place, that it is about rebirthing dreams. And how do you do that? You start small. You start with small incremental dreams, one at a time. You start with a little dream and then work it on up. It's very difficult to believe in big dreams when you've had them all taken away from you. So you start with little dreams, working and thinking about a bigger dream at the end, but building little dreams, micro dreams. I used to teach, you know, have micro dreams, short-term dreams, and macro dreams. I tell you who does a great teaching on this is Jim Rohn, about goal setting or dream building, and about the different ways of being able to do it, have stepping stones and making little lists, and, you know, little lists of things that you want, so that when you get to Director 700, when you get to bronze, the bigger dreams are down the track. And how you get to the bigger dreams is by accomplishing the smaller dreams. But it is painful to dream build, but we need to do that, because that then stretches our comfort zone. And especially when you've had a lot of dreams smacked out of you, as many of us have as we do life, it's not always easy to rebuild the dream. But for me, one of the keys was listening to the audibles, listening to the books, rebuilding my mindset, my belief that possibly I could come back. Dream building, I dream build almost every single day. And
I was going to ask you that. I was going to say, what do you do I was going to ask you two quick questions. One, what were some of your first dreams when you stepped into Asea? And the next one is, what do you do today to keep dream building?
So one of the dreams I had when I started with Asea was, I thought maybe one day I could buy a little place in France, and you can buy a little place in France for like 30,000 euros. And I thought, okay, that's something maybe I could do. I could see that maybe one day I could do that. And so when I started, I had just lots of little things like, you know, a pair of sunglasses, new shirts, a suit, you know, shoes, things like that. So I started with those little dreams. And the biggest dream I could really come up with was that little place in France. And I thought, well, it's okay if I have to live that like that. And, you know, it's kind of where I started. And then gradually I grew that out as I kind of started developing the business and started, you know, achieving some goals, achieving some better income. Income-wise, my first goal was to make $100 a week back in early 2016. And then it was, you know, wow, if I can do that, maybe $1,000 a month. And then if I could do $1,000 a month, I could see, well, I could do two. And then progressively, it was to get to my other goal. My other dream really was to get to an amount of money that would pay all my expenses, you know, the rent, the food for the boys, my petrol, their electricity. And I'd prune most of my expenses back to $5,000 a month. So that became a big burn for me, was to make enough out of my Asea business just to pay all of that. And then I thought, okay, everything past that is a bonus. Everything past that is plus. Then I also had some debt that I was trying not to focus on, but I wanted to pay that out. So I was able to do that. I was able to start, you know, on a weekly basis, retiring some of that debt. It was $130,000 that I was behind zero. I didn't have any assets. I had, you know, minus 130,000. So when people say they're damaged, and I understand that, but I think I can help people recover from that because and share with them the steps that I took. But if people aren't prepared to read and they're not prepared to change and learn and grow and dream build and believe and have hope, I don't know what else they would do. So people that say, when I make the money, I'll know what to do with it. You notice they never make the money. It doesn't work like that. It happens. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens with planning, with determination, with resolve. It happens, you know, when you make decisions and when you dream build and when you stretch your comfort zone and you get to diamond. You don't, it's like climbing a mountain. You don't, when you look at the base of Kilimanjaro, you don't jump to the top of Kilimanjaro. You go up and sometimes you go down. You go up the mountain, you go down the mountain. That's how you climb Kili. It's the same with building a business. It's sometimes when you build an Asea business, it seems like 3 steps up and 2 steps down, but press on, and then you get some more momentum. You climb 4 steps, and it's kind of like that as you build it. But you don't jump to diamond. You don't. You've got to go direct to 300. You got to go direct to 700. You progress to bronze. You progress to silver, and it's the stepping stones. And it's important to have goals and dreams and rewards at those various stepping stones. So you don't leave all your rewards till you get to diamond. You have a reward for direct to 300. You have a reward for direct to 700. Have a reward for bronze, a reward for gold. Have rewards for you, because the motivator has to motivate the motivator. The person that's going to do the work needs to be the one that inspires themselves. And a number of those goals need to be selfish for you to keep inspiring you as you go up the mountain. Now, once you've climbed a mountain, then you can start helping lots and lots of other people. It's like the oxygen mask. You've got to put it on yourself first before you start giving it to other people. You know, poor man can't help a poor man. A rich man can help lots of people. But it needs to be progressive. Dream building takes time. Dream building is the work of our business. People don't dream build, and they don't dream build. It's the one thing from what I've seen in Asea, people don't do anywhere near enough of. They don't dream build.
It's dismissed so easily. People dismiss it. And
they dismiss it. And yet for me, it's the most important part. I listen to the world's greatest networker that's ever lived, and he would talk about this incessantly. You've got to have a dream. You've got to have a dream. You've got to delay the gratification when you build a business like this. You've got to have a dream. You've got to find it. People say, I don't have a dream. Well, you best find one. You won't go far making a list of customers, building your Asea business and making sales, because it's not a sales business. This is not a sales business. This is about learning how to help ourselves, motivate ourselves to build large organizations, to find leaders, develop people. The whole business is about people, developing people and helping people to accomplish the greatness and the dreams. And it's not all material stuff. It's not all about that. It could be, a number of you might have goals like you do, Cristina, and help your dad, or, you know, for our children. Well, that was for legacy income for my kids. You know, the work I do in Africa. The more I can earn, the more I can help other people. Yes, there's other dreams. You talked about having an Aston Martin, and there's a car that I want too, a lovely car. does it really drive me? No, not really. It's a consequence of other dreams that I have that will allow me to get the car, but I don't build the business for that car. I build the business for emotional reasons. Things are emotional to me and emotional to me. And as a result of that, those things will fall into place anyway. That's kind of how it works.
And, you know, I think, Mel, that just as we close that, when people sometimes find it difficult to dream, sometimes because, you know, my situation, I was also struggling financially. Sometimes it's because we're too much in the habit of thinking about the things we don't want. And it's okay, I think, at the beginning to build the nightmare, to build running from a nightmare rather than sometimes onto a dream. But it's important that we put our thoughts on the dream. So even if you are running from the nightmare, don't be thinking about the bills and the poverty feeling and I'm a loser and I can't, you know, look at my poor kids, I can't feed them properly. You still have to, even if you're running from a nightmare, you have to mentally drag yourself and go, okay, what's my life feel like when I'm not this anymore, when I'm not here anymore?
Yeah.
It's essential.
And it takes work to do that. It takes work to change your belief. It takes work to change your thinking. It takes work to change your mindset and your expectation. So much of this, we had a great Zoom with Alan Fitzgerald a little bit earlier. The man is just exuding expectation, belief, confidence. He's in what I would call the zone.
Absolutely.
And when you're in that zone, that's where everything clicks in. Expectation works, faith works. Everything sort of comes to you. Now, he's doing the work to make that happen. How do you get into that zone? I tell you how you get into that zone with action. Action cures fear. And a lot of this is to do with the way we live our life. We live our life in a dream or we live it with fear. And, you know, what Marsha was talking about, I was listening to this morning, is each of us has a doubter. We have the dreamer, the person has a dream. Then as soon as you come up with a dream, the doubter says, yes, but how can I? How will I? I don't have the money, don't have the time. What about me? I can't, I don't know. I'm not like Alan. I'm not as good on the phone. The doubter she's saying is actually very good because the doubter will then allow us to create strategies to cope with those objections. So we can create a strategy to deal with those objections. It's not a problem having the doubter, but the doubter serves to help us deal with and create strategies to get to the dream. But here's what I know, you get what you focus on. If you're focusing on the dream, you'll get that. If you focus on your fears and doubts and what you don't have, whatever you focus on will manifest. That's kind of, all of the authors speak to the same principle as that. You get in life what you think about most of the time. So you think about doubt, lack of, I can't, all those kind of things, you will get more of that. And if you can turn that, transcend that into a belief, a faith, and belief in you, because we're all created equal. There's none of us different. None of us were smacked on the bottom at birth and said, okay, you're destined to be a diamond. That's a decision that we make. And it really comes out of the resolute desire to go for something we want. It's kind of like the inevitable pursuit, the relentless pursuit of the inevitable. In other words, the persistent comes from having a very clearly defined emotional dream, something you can't do without.
Exactly.
And that's the power that we have to find. And you have to find what that is. It's going to be different for every one of us. And so when I chat with people, that's what I'm looking for. What is it you've got to have? What is it you must have? And that's what you're going to fight for. What are you prepared to fight for? And it's like, you got to fight. You're going to have to fight for success. It's not that difficult when you follow the sequence, but if you haven't got a reason to fight, you wouldn't do this. So I know if I can't find a reason for somebody to build this, it's going to be very difficult for them to build it just because they think it's a good idea. It won't happen. There's too much resistance to build a business like this that you have to deal with. You know, if I was worth $150 million, I don't know if I would have ever built an Asea business. I'm not, by the way. But if I was, I would not probably have the reason strong enough to build an Asea business. I would probably use the product. I might even tell a few people, but I certainly wouldn't have put up with a number of no's that I've had to build a business. So let me just share this with you. I heard this from Marshall Weeder. One of the guys, founders of IBM, said, he said, the way you get to success is by failing more often. That was very powerful. You know, the biggest leaders with Asea are the biggest failures. We've just been prepared to fail and fall forward for our dream, for a reason big enough. So the biggest leaders, the biggest failures, it's not that we're good at this. We're not. We've failed more than anybody. I've had more no's probably than anybody. No. And I'm still getting more no's. And people think, oh, and whatever, big rank, people must say yes to you. No, they don't. They don't. It's not like that. They don't. So the biggest failures, if you want to succeed, learn to fail. That's a big lesson, a big message. Learn to fail and understand that's how we all move, but we're resolute in the failure. Failure doesn't define us. Somebody saying no doesn't block me, doesn't stop me, or shouldn't stop you in your tracks. It's just that I know sooner or later I'll get a yes. And if I've had a lot of no's, sooner or later I'm going to get a big yes. It's kind of the way it works. It's just the numbers. It's the principles that I trust in. So
awesome.
Anyway, I hope that's helped. But that was great. I really enjoyed that. You put a lot of work into your PowerPoints. I wish I knew how to do those, but they're really good.
Well, you see, you know what? Every one of the pictures in the PowerPoint was a picture from the last 12 months, like it was a picture from my phone, which in itself to me is gobsmacking, because I think I couldn't even afford a holiday to the Gold Coast a few years ago, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity, what it has done for the family. So, and I just want more people to come on those great trips with us, and more people to get free and get all their dreams. So lots of love to you guys. Thanks for being on this presentation. And Mal, thanks for coming on and giving all that good juice right at the end. Thanks so much. I appreciate everybody. And thank you. Listen, there's so many nice, so people take the time to put the nice feedback. It really does make a difference. Thank you guys. All right. Have a lovely evening, and thanks, Mal.